Modern sandpaper is incredible. We don't realize how good we have it. Every once in a while I get a comment from a woodworking purist who tells me that sandpaper is for amateurs and the true masters of the craft smoothed everything with planes and scrapers. But that's not true at all. The fact is, sandpaper has a really long and interesting history. The masters used some really strange stuff to smooth their wood, like fish skins and horsetails. They would have killed to have some of the amazing high-tech stuff that we take for granted today. Take the ancient Egyptians, for example. There are murals that depict workers rubbing wood with sandstone. Sand itself was also used as an abrasive. The granite that they used to build the pyramids and other monuments was cut by sprinkling loose sand in a groove and rubbing it back and forth with the edge of a copper plate to create an abrasive saw. Among the first all-in-one abrasive sheets was natural shark and other rough-scaled fish skins. Imagine rubbing that on your project all day. Another natural abrasive was made by boiling and drying a plant called horsetail. Both of these methods were used by the Romans and in the Far East, and the practice still exists to some extent today. There are still people who sand with fish. As far back as the 13th century, the Chinese used natural gum to adhere sand and seeds or crushed shells to parchment. That may have been the earliest example of something we today would recognize as sandpaper. As the centuries progressed, other types of abrasives were used, including crushed flint, quartz, and granite. By the 15th century, the Swiss were using paper coated with crushed glass. Then the Industrial Revolution came and new adhesives were developed. In 1833, a piano maker named John Oakey developed a better process for gluing abrasives to paper to create a more durable sheet that could be mass-produced in large quantities. So the cost of sandpaper, which at times had been more than a day's wage per sheet, started to become more affordable for small shops. As these products made their way into the mainstream, they were often generically called glass paper, even though any number of natural particles may have made up the actual grit. The problem was industry consumed so much of these natural abrasives, so people began experimenting with man-made particles. Around the end of the 1800s, synthetic silicon carbide and aluminum oxide were developed, the same abrasives that are on many sandpapers today. These synthetic particles made sandpaper abundant and even more affordable. Now that's the lineage of sandpaper, but when was it first adopted by woodworkers? Well, it's impossible to pinpoint exactly when wood was first sanded. As I said, the ancient Egyptians sanded wood with stones. Early wood turners were known to use cattails to smooth their work, and various other plants have been used as well. A French manuscript from the 1400s indicates that a form of sanding was used to refine a surface after edged tools. It said to first make the wood very flat and smooth it by scraping it, and lastly, by rubbing it with that herb which is called shave grass. Another manuscript from the 16th century describes polishing wood with burnt pumice stone, well rubbed with a coarse cloth and with said powder. Another 16th century source makes it clear that the practice was by that time already an old practice in woodworking. For the final smoothing of woodwork, the medieval equivalent of sandpaper seems to have been the rough skin of a dogfish. While it's trendy to think of the popular 18th century masters using nothing but finely tuned hand planes, André Roubaud's 1769 treatise on the craft explains how to make a polisher from a bundle of stems, which was used both to abrade and to burnish wood to a fine finish. Anthony Hay, the 18th century cabinet maker of Williamsburg, Virginia, was known to use shark skins to smooth his work. And surviving texts from the 1700s even teach how to make your own sandpaper by gluing fine sand to brown paper. It was said that the result was equal in quality to fish skins. Clearly, the practice of sanding has ancient origins, and some of the finest woodwork that survives in museums today was smoothed, at least in part, with some form of natural or man-made abrasive sheet. So the next time someone tells you that the old-timers scraped and planed everything and would have rejected our modern sandpaper, you can just laugh, knowing that great craftsmen like Townsend and Goddard and Chippendale and others would have killed for a sheet of 3M Cubitron sandpaper like this. 3M says their Cubitron 2 sandpaper is a revolutionary advancement in abrasive technology. What makes Cubitron paper different is the grit is made up of ceramic pyramids, which slice the fibers of the wood rather than plowing troughs through them like the grain of the tiny rocks that are found on other sandpaper. The result is an abrasive that works faster and stays cooler, so it lasts longer, significantly longer, like 5 or 6 times longer than the cheap stuff, and about twice as long as even other premium sandpapers. 3M Cubitron 2 destroyed Mirka, Klingspor, all the brands that are generally considered to be really good stuff. The Cubitron genuinely lasts a lot longer. I assume it must keep it cooler, perhaps it optimizes the way it cuts. I honestly don't understand how it works. It just works better than any other sandpaper I've used. All I can say is try it. Just 1 pack. You'll see what I mean. And if you do, please use the link below this video, which is to a small family business, and that business is well worth supporting.